Alright. What the hell is going on, everybody? And welcome back. In the top right side of the map, we've got ShowTime. And in the bottom left, it's Jieshi. And this is the beginning, of course, of a massive Team League match between Dragon Kaiser Gaming, which have lost one of their star players, Dark. It is now obviously Jieshi, Oliveira, and Hero holding up the DKZ or DKZ flag, depending on how you want to say that. ShowTime, though, is playing for Basilisk. And he's essentially being a Serral sub while Serral's in boot camp. So with Serral gone, how well can Basilisk hold up? Is ShowTime obviously as good as Serral? No one's as good as Serral. Best player in the world is kind of the best player in the world, greatest of all time and all that business. But ShowTime is a very good player. And this is round 2. Now, I didn't cast the round 1 match. Suffice to say, ShowTime did pretty well. He traded maps with Christiana. They played against Starlight Twinkle. REYNOR 2-0'd Wayne. Unfortunately, Trigger got 2-0'd by their third player, Cham. And REYNOR ended up losing the ace match to Christiana, a player who's been giving him a lot of trouble lately with that Mass Immortal Storm style that REYNOR just can't seem to quite figure out, or at least he couldn't. And that was a few weeks ago now, so who knows, maybe REYNOR's got an answer to it after being in Korea and whatnot. But end of the tale is, you go from being undefeated in the last few seasons in the regular season rounds as Basilisk to basically just losing. And that's rough, man. That's very rough. Like, you're just like, oh, we lost the first round. Okay, well, we've got another round match here. Let's see if they can kind of recover, fight back. Hopefully ShowTime can get some wins against Jieshi. He does come in as a favorite against Jieshi, I would say. But Jieshi is not a player to sleep on. Jieshi's beaten Oliveira in the Asian regionals before. He's done very well in the past. And ShowTime will have to keep his eyes peeled. Jieshi does get the fast Nexus down off 1 gas. Gonna go for a quick second gas now is Jieshi. And it's a 2 gas into fast Stargate. So it's both 1 gate expand. It's just it's a slower Nexus for ShowTime as he's prioritized the Stargate, the early Adept, and of course that probe scout. Whilst Jieshi, did Jieshi lose his probe? Oh, Jieshi actually lost his probe. Damn. Must have been harassing from inside the mineral line, and it looks like that probe did manage to kill it. Nexus goes down there as well. It's about 30 seconds late, but that is fine. And Jieshi there made it look like he kind of wanted to put a tech structure down. That was kind of cute because he saw ShowTime's probe coming in. So he kind of zigged his probe back and forth, pretending he was about to throw some tech down, but then waited for the probe to die, and then he just went back to continue mining. So Jieshi just giving out a little bit of misinformation. In fact, he's playing 2 gate, and it's a 2 gate full wall off. Good way to play this. If you're playing a bit greedier here, you want to have no gaps in your probe production. You want to chrono probes a little bit as well, if you can afford to. And with such a quick Nexus, the advantage of this build is, look, he doesn't have to build a 3rd pylon. Because his Nexus finishes so early, he gets unsupply blocked just as he hits 31 supply. Battery will defend the main from Oracles. Stalkers will defend the natural, and he can make his own sentry to scout the follow-up. Does this delay his Twilight a little bit? Yeah, but you don't need a fast Twilight. You just need to chrono those probes out and work that worker advantage. Well, what can I say, guys? I guess I've woken up today with a certain way for the words. Kind of crappy way for the words, let's be honest. Second Oracle comes out as the first Oracle does get immediately pushed back by the 2 Stalkers. Twilight comes down for ShowTime as well, so double Oracle into Blink. He's going to be behind a couple workers, and he's going to start with a Stasis Trap blocking the 3rd base. Not a bad move. I do prefer to put that on the rear side so that if the probe comes down, it does not only the probe gets trapped, but the probe also blocks the Nexus being placed, whereas if a probe gets activated here, you can bring a second probe down, put a Nexus down straight away. Tiny detail, but these things sometimes add up. Adept's a distraction. That's a distraction. It's a distraction. Here come the Oracles. Oh, Jieshi, gotta watch out, mate. ShowTime. Lovely distraction with that Adept. He knew it couldn't get through the battery overcharge or the battery on its own, but it distracts. And even just being a little slow to attack those Oracles mean they can snatch 8 probe kills. Very nicely done by ShowTime as he goes for a 3rd gateway and a 3rd gas. And he'll no doubt be thinking about taking that 3rd base afterwards as well. 3rd. What can I say? The rule of 3s. 3 gases, 3 gateways, 3 bases. A pretty damn good setup in this matchup. Jieshi's first hallucination will come in. Sees some gateways, sees lots of probes. Doesn't really see any warning signs here. It's like, okay, you got a Twilight, you got a few Stalkers. You could maybe think, where's your gas going? Because, hey, I don't see any sentries, but you got to realize he opened with 2 Oracles. That's 300 gas represented by that. Now, Jieshi's actually been really good at non-stop Stalker production. He's on 8 Stalkers right now. So he could go for a pretty sharp blink pressure if ShowTime is a bit too greedy. Often you'll find players who build extra gateways aren't as constant with warping in units, whereas players who are a little lighter on the gateways, Jieshi in this case 2 gateways, but constantly produce units, find themselves with a bit of an army advantage. That being said, if you move out with all your units, those oracles could come in and blitz your mineral line. So Jieshi has to leave 4 stalkers at home. If you take 4 stalkers away from his stalker count, he's actually slightly behind in the army count. So you know what? I think this is perfectly fine and even. Forge comes down a little earlier for Jieshi. Jieshi's behind on the probes now, but only a little. ShowTime only taking a single worker advantage. Charge comes down super fast for Jieshi. Wow. 4th gateway goes down for him as well. And so it looks like, to me, like Jieshi is thinking about transitioning into like a big blink stalker attack. Robo goes down for him as well. ShowTime, he's got a forward pylon coming down. Oracle's going down that right side. With one of the oracles in the red, that is the main weakness of him. That red hit point oracle goes down, then suddenly he doesn't have lethality. The oracle will take 2 shots rather than a single volley to take down a probe. Stalker's running forward on the left. ShowTime's going to probe this territory, see what he can find. ShowTime's got some big boots to fill. And obviously Serral would be expected to 2-0 Jieshi. ShowTime hoping he can do the same thing here as well. Does start winning this fight. I think he attacked his own unit for a second there. Not sure actually. It might have just been a probe that pulled into him. It does look like the oracles went in, maybe saw the stalkers, and immediately turned around, took a bit of shield damage, but didn't take any losses. It's more worth to keep the oracles alive and just keep these stalkers pinned, as well as stop Jieshi from being able to F2. Ooh, I think ShowTime could have blinked forward there. ShowTime being very cautious. He's trying to preserve his units, but he ends up losing 2 stalkers anyway. 3 stalkers go down. It's a great fight for Jieshi. ShowTime, you know, I don't know if overcommit is the right word, because he could have committed harder and started one-shotting Jieshi's stalkers, and that would have actually been better. He needed to either commit 100% straight away, blink in, and just start focusing things down, or he needed to back out a bit earlier and not lose those stalkers. As it was, he's lost 4 stalkers for 3. That's a positive trade for Jieshi. Double Oracle going to come in now for ShowTime. 4-gate against 4-gate. Robo and Forge on the way for ShowTime as well, but they are a little delayed. The Oracles came in the left side. He could bring those in over the mineral line, but that means these Oracles will get shot down. Jieshi's going to take down one of them. Remember, battery's dry right now. ShowTime seems to just be leaning his numbers in here. He gets 5 probe kills with the Oracles. Zealots warping in could turn this around in Jieshi's favor. Jieshi hanging on like an absolute beast right now. Ooh, I think if he can get a few of these stalkers on the retreat, he could be good, but more reinforcements coming. ShowTime's got good blink micro. ShowTime is a very solid StarCraft player, and he's up in 57 workers. He's going to take a 4th base on the gold behind this. When you've got your opponent pinned like this, it really does favor your ability to just drop an extra Nexus, add an extra upgrade, add a few more gateways, transition. Meanwhile, stuck on 6 gates. Well, actually, he's got more gateways transforming, so he's going to be on 8 gates. He's got his own gold coming up. His +2 starts as well, so he's going to continue the upgrade advantage. I feel like Jieshi's in a very decent position. Finds himself a pylon as well. Yeah, he's surviving really well. If we look at the units lost tab, the Stalker versus Stalker kills is what I'm most interested in. You can see ShowTime still behind by 1, but keep in mind, he killed quite a few Zealots. 5 Zealots as well. So units lost tab overall is in favor of ShowTime. If he can get a cancel on the 4th base, that will secure a big advantage, because his 4th already started earlier. If you deny your opponent's 4th Nexus, that's huge. He's going to get it. The Zealot Stalker was moving right here for Jieshi. Jieshi's got to be very careful. He's heavy on the Zealots now. ShowTime has to be cautious, though. He's kind of not got any Zealots. He's only on Stalkers, so move and shoot and blinking back is the way to do it. But you want to be kind of blinking back just a few Stalkers at a time, or 1 or 2 Stalkers at a time as they take damage, preferably. Warp Prism in the top comes in, but of course that gets spotted by ShowTime's Pylon. He's going to send a pack of Stalkers into the main. 5 Stalkers, more than enough to deal with the Warp Prism. Very unlikely that Prism commits in after being scouted, as against Blink. You fly in here with a Warp Prism, not being able to see anything. The Stalkers are often hiding back here. Even if it looks undefended, the moment you get to this area, they blink on you and shoot you down. Did I just see sparks shoot out the side of that building? I believe I did. Maybe it's... Oh, I guess it's actually out of the spaceship, isn't it? There's like a big spaceship that's like crashed into the side of this. What's cool about it is it seems like it's very freshly crashed as well, since it's still sparking and flaming. Steam coming out of the vents and all of that. Stalker's taking out a pylon on that side. ShowTime's income advantage is pretty nice. 600-700 minerals a minute. He's still got mostly Stalkers, but he's adding some Zealots in. I would love to see him do this sort of fighting retreat with his mass Stalker army and start to drip some Zealots into the bases of Jieshi, because I feel like Jieshi's going to struggle with that. On the other hand, Jieshi's got a lot of Zealots. The Stalkers and Zealots have ShowTime out of position. His map control lacking right now. Jieshi's catching him. Oh, ShowTime, if he loses both those batteries, that's really going to help Jieshi with this fight. Jieshi should focus that battery down. He does. Battery overcharge doesn't really get to do anything. ShowTime had to blink forward, though. A lot of his Stalkers going down pretty quickly. He needs Zealot Warp-ins, and Zealot Warp-ins alone. ShowTime also needs to start using those defensive blink micros as his Stalkers take damage. But I think with the defender's advantage, the faster reinforcement point, it looks like he should be able to hang on. This kind of feels all in for Jieshi. Yes, he has +2 attack against only +1 for ShowTime. Warp Prism for ShowTime accidentally derps into the fight. But his Stalker micro seems pretty good. Those Stalkers in the north are also defending with a shield battery up there, keeping them alive for a second or two longer than they should have. More Zealots warping in. Jieshi seems to be taking a decent angle, but things can crumble, especially as these Stalkers start to lose those hit points. The supply advantage of Jieshi disappears. That being said, ShowTime's still behind in army value, and he loses way too many Stalkers there. He just lost like 4 or 5 Stalkers. His Zealots coming in. I like that he tried to hold position his probes. ShowTime frantically trying to defend, but the Prism's going to go inside his main base. Luckily for him, he's got a cannon and a battery there. His Stalkers, if they can push back these enemy Stalkers, he can maybe hold on, but oh, battery overcharge. It's ready. It's ready. He really needs to overcharge inside his base. He does overcharge there. Cannon will survive, but only for a few seconds longer. That's unfortunate. A lot of probes starting to go down. I think Jieshi's got him. I can't believe it. Jieshi just breaking him with the +2 advantage. Really good Stalker micro. And ShowTime not watching his left flank, getting caught out of position there. I think ShowTime maybe even got a little cocky, thought he had this one in the bag. But no. Jieshi fights back. I'm telling you, man, the Chinese Protoss players are incredibly dogged. They really don't give up easily. And they've played so much against such a variety of weird Protoss styles. They're very good at adapting on the fly. Now, ShowTime does start his +3 attack not too far behind, starts reprobing. Jieshi, though, is going for a 5th. And Jieshi doesn't need to probe up at all. Jieshi can just make more army and then go for another big attack. And what are you going to do against that as ShowTime? Observer's out here watching for it now. He built multiple observers. Jieshi's only building his first observer now. He's played a little bit greedier, one could argue. Not building as much cannon battery, not building many observers. But that plus a surprise attack angle is what's allowed him to get back into this game. ShowTime with some Stalkers on the top, Stalker Zealot Sentry on the south as well. No battery in this third base right now. And pretty good angling so far, but ShowTime's got to be very careful to not get drawn into a bad position. Those Immortals. Those Immortals, if they can land hits on his Stalkers, he might be screwed. I think ShowTime has to dive on the Immortals. I don't think he has a choice. I don't think he can and ah about this. On the other hand, he doesn't really have the numbers. Oh, he's outnumbered on the Zealots as well. Whenever the Immortals are exposed and he's got Zealots tanking, he needs to just blink and focus them down, I think. But easier said than done. Immortals are a very powerful unit. He loses a Stalker in the north before blinking them all back at the same time. One of the Immortal barriers is gone. The other one is up and active. Stalkers trying to micro their way back. Zealots and Stalkers doing okay here. But Jieshi, he's taken very good trades. 1,200 resources more efficient. 5th base is up. Throws himself down a cannon and a battery. And he goes up to 10 gateways. Something ShowTime definitely can't afford in this game. Income is not that big of an advantage for Jieshi just yet, but as these bases start to mine out, that will change. ShowTime has to defend this angle. He sees the army there. He realizes that Jieshi has position on him. Starts putting some Stalkers around the bottom, which is cute. If you can micro in such a good arc, that's great. That's a big if. Oh, he's going for the Prism. Oh, he's going to get the Prism. He only loses 1 Stalker there. Well worth that for a Warp Prism, because that removes the reinforce point. Jieshi now, if he commits, he's not got a reinforcement. Not nearby anyway. Here we go. Stalkers in the top are microing pretty well. These Stalkers and Zealots fighting their hearts out. This is a great position for ShowTime. Amazing position for ShowTime. I love it. Actually, the battery in the top would probably be a really good spot. He's going to use it down here and try to blink back some of his weak Stalkers to it. But I think this is more than good enough. His Stalkers are going to blink forward and focus those Immortals. Remember what I said? The moment those Immortals are exposed, you've got to focus them down. But oh, he gets punished for it. He gets punished for that move. And perhaps he should have actually been more defensive and just kept defending. Because look, now the Zealot Stalker spills into his base. He's going to lose a bunch of these guys as they're warping in. And even with the battery there, I don't think that's enough to hold on. Stalker Zealot coming in the front. ShowTime not quite able to hang. And this is the power of a decisive, aggressive player. Jieshi playing from behind and fighting back in this game. Very well played there. ShowTime trying to really dot his I's, you know, cross his T's, make sure you're safe against everything. Jieshi said, no, I'm going to commit full on to a +2 Stalker Zealot timing. And with really good micro, he makes it work. A lovely start here for Jieshi. Gets the first map, with a bit of a comeback as well. And now ShowTime finds himself behind in the top left side of the map. ShowTime, usually a defensive king. Unlike him to leave an entire path unscouted like that, he was really worried about the frontal push on the gold. He was not worried about the army swinging around the side and hitting the flank of his third base. He got caught off guard though. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the WTL format, I should probably here in Game 2 say this is not a best of 7 between just these two players. It's 2 games between each player. So it's ShowTime, Jieshi, then we will have some matchup of, I don't know who's coming out next for each team. I believe that I think they know the lineup a day or two ahead of time. I'm not sure actually if they do or not. I'm not sure. Maybe they find out only when they get into the actual game. But we've obviously got REYNOR and Trigger for Basilisk slash Big Esports, ShowTime's team. And DKZ has got Hero and Oliveira waiting in the wings. So we'll see how they match up. I think REYNOR's pretty darn favored versus Oliveira. REYNOR versus Hero is a massive toss-up. I think Hero's been looking so good in that matchup recently. And obviously, Trigger is going to be pretty underdog against both of those, but I'd say he's much better off playing Oliveira than he is against Hero. On the other hand, I actually think Oliveira's style kind of counters Trigger's style. So that could be a problem for him as well. Now, ShowTime actually loses the probe duel at his own base. And looks like this probe here had to go for the pylon much earlier as well. Now, Jieshi actually is trying to get that 1-gate Nexus up. You can see he could cancel that Zealot and start the Nexus right now. He should be attacking Jieshi. What are we doing, mate? Probe is harassing. I guess he was focusing on that micro. Zealot has to now come out. And with only a single gas option, Jieshi doesn't really have the option to go Stargate. So ShowTime's going to see this. He might even choose to Cybercore block. I would Cybercore block here. Normally not a big fan of the Cybercore block, but if your opponent's only on 1 gas, their options are severely limited. And, oh, he's just going to keep pylon blocking. That's even cheaper. Kind of has pretty similar effect, one could say. You could put another pylon down and then cancel this one as well, just to get a few more seconds. That Stalker's going to be out soon, though, and that Zealot does force the cancel. Jieshi, not getting the natural up. What's he doing? Is he... What? Oh, he's a little slow on that. Zealot going after that probe. ShowTime's ready to expand himself. Nexus does go up for Jieshi once he realizes what's going on. Second gas and a second pylon for him as well. ShowTime's Nexus not far behind, and he's got a Stargate already beyond halfway done. So definitely feels like the better opening for ShowTime here. He's playing more of a Max Pax-esque style, while Jieshi's just full walling with 2 gates. And this seems to be Jieshi's favorite thing to do right now. It's just full wall, play the 2-gate style. And I've always felt this is one of the best ways to play if you're playing someone who's stronger than you. I don't know if Jieshi has that thought process, or this is just one of his favorite ways to play in 1-gate expand versus 1-gate expand. But I feel like if you play Adept Oracle, it's one of the most technical, easy to screw up and lose the game sort of openings, what ShowTime's doing here. Whereas what Jieshi's doing is kind of foolproof. I'm not the biggest fan of the full wall, personally, but that just makes it even safer. I usually prefer to leave an opening, wall off temporarily with other structures to block the Adept, but he's actually just saying, no, it's fine. We're just gonna chill. Oh, and he does cancel. Interesting. He goes 2nd gate in Twilight. And normally that's really risky, but against ShowTime, who you know is going to be super defensive, that's perfectly fine. Now, ShowTime, he's going Void Ray after Oracle because he's a little bit worried. Am I getting all in? What's going on? 2nd gate goes down, but as his Oracle arrives, he sees the tech and a bunch of probes as well. Yeah, he's got a very good idea. Okay, this is definitely just a chill game. Man, he should have got at least one probe. That was really bad micro from ShowTime. Unfortunate slip up there. It happens. Once you mess up with the Oracle, it's kind of irrecoverable. Just keep that in mind. It's the first mistake. It's not like he's continuing to fumble it. It's once you stop moving with the Oracle, you click it in the wrong spot and it loses its acceleration. It's done for. It takes too long to re-accelerate, whereas you'll see pro players, they'll shoot while it's still drifting and immediately give it another move command almost the instant they give it the attack command, and the Oracle will just keep moving and shooting and kind of gliding around and really finding big effect. Stasis trap outside the base. Looks like he might try to use that there. Void Ray and Stalk are going to go for a pressure. ShowTime is down 3 probes. He's trying to probe up behind as well as go for his own Twilight Council. Void Ray and Stalk are doing what they can, but of course, as the 3 Stalkers come down, he does have to turn around. Oh! Gets himself a Stalker kill. I guess he wasn't sure he'd be able to get that otherwise. And you know what? He's going to lose the Void Ray. That's unfortunate. Is he, though? Jieshi may be chasing a bit too far. The Zealot probably should have just landed some hits on whatever was there. ShowTime does back away. Stalker for a Zealot, not too bad a trade. Of course, the real damage is the fact that the Oracle's killed nothing. It really should have killed a few probes, and the Void Ray's almost dead. So killing a single Stalker seems nice, but it's not a lot of value. That being said, Jieshi's 3rd Now goes down faster than ever. Forge is on the way. It really does to me feel like ShowTime's going to need to find an edge somewhere. I mean, he could... Does he? Is he really that behind? No. I guess this is me being a little bit paranoid that because he lost when he was ahead last game, that he can't play a game from behind. But you know what? He might actually be a bit more cautious if he's playing from behind. Not try to cover himself against every possible option and actually play a cleaner game as a result of it. Oracle did get recalled home there, so he's going to use some stasis traps just to reinforce his defensive position. Oh, look at that. Stasis trap's going to get wasted on Jieshi Zealot, I think. Oh, no. Zealot sees the third, does back away. Stalkers will clean that up. Forge goes down for ShowTime as well, so he's kind of just doing the same stuff as Jieshi. He's just, 20 seconds behind on the third base. About a minute behind on the upgrade he'll end up being. You can see that upgrade's what? Yeah, it's going to be about 45, 50 seconds done. So about 50 seconds behind on the upgrade. Down 4 probes. That's not game winning though. None of that's enough to just overwhelm Defender's advantage. ShowTime really didn't get to use his Defender's advantage last game. Like remember, if the army comes from here from your opponent, your army should be here or here and blinking back into the shield battery to heal as the fight's going on. You don't want to be back here and then he just runs in, kills your shield battery and you have no healing. That's such a big part of Protoss Defender's advantage. Fighting in front of the shield battery, seeing where your opponent's coming from and intercepting them is such a big part of the matchup. Jieshi's going 4th base, 5 gates, charge, and +1. Wow. He's got to watch out about the Stalker advantage, though. He sieges an Observer in the middle of the map. Yeah, a few more Stalker weapons will be necessary. He's playing a 2-gas style. 2-gas style, super efficient. I think he's just going to swarm ShowTime. ShowTime's going to be in trouble, man. Even almost losing a Stalker here. Does get back to safety. But how do you contest this? Because ShowTime plays such a standard style where he's just going to keep making Stalkers. And if Jieshi gets up 3 warp-ins of Zealots off this massive gateway explosion, has 4 mineral lines going, I feel like he swarms and wins. On the other hand, Jieshi's not probing. Why is Jieshi not probing? That's bizarre. Sitting on just 55 probes. So 55 probes is pretty low for this stage of the game. But he took a big gap in the probing. He's building cannons here. I guess he's worried about DT potentiality. Oracle goes down the right side. Robo does come up behind. Jieshi's got a similar Stalker count. We'll see who micros better. Jieshi does take the worst of the first trade. Loses a few extra hit points, but neither Stalker goes down. ShowTime tries to take his 4th base. I feel like you need Archons as ShowTime against this style. On the other hand, the fact that Jieshi's got the 4th up but didn't really probe it, I feel like, yeah, you can transfer 5 workers from the main about now, sometime soon, as these mineral patches are starting to disappear. On the other hand, he could have gone up to 65 and even taken a 5th base pretty early. So you can see now he's probing up his Jieshi, but doesn't have that big of an army advantage. The Zealot count is not that big. He's up 3 Zealots. He's up 1 Stalker. Upgrade-wise, he's good. He's still up a good 45 seconds or so. Zealot Stalker in the mid-ground. ShowTime's got to be careful. He's down 6 workers. His 4th base is not mining yet. There we go. Look at that income advantage. Now the income advantage is really showing its head. 5th base would be beautiful for Jieshi. If he takes a 5th base, he can start swarming. He might even be able to play double Forge if he takes a 5th base. That being said, looks like he's just going to go mass Stalker Zealot. It's 8 gate against 8 gate. I think he's going to do a +2 timing again. It worked very well for him last game. This time, ShowTime has a slightly better idea of where that army is, especially if his Oracle survives. Oh, stasis traps can really help out as well. Oh, he's going to get rid of that Observer. That's good. That's really good for ShowTime. Now he knows the army's there. He should go tag it as well. He's going to actually just move his Oracle around. He's looking for like Zealot run-bys on the south. He's like, okay, my army's so focused here. I need to make sure I don't get caught out by a run-by in the south like last game. Stasis trap slowing down this attack. +2's done. Remember, +2 is on the way for ShowTime. He's like, okay, that's 50 seconds away. He's chronoing it. He knows that Jieshi wants to fight right now with the upgrade advantage, but he abandons the northern position. ShowTime! What are we doing, mate? Oh, he's going to lose his batteries. This could cost him big time. On the other hand, Jieshi still has a lot of units frozen in the stasis trap, but the batteries are gone. So many Zealots for ShowTime. Jieshi's got to get out of here. Those Zealots are getting surrounded in the north. Those Zealots need to pull back for Jieshi. ShowTime pulling back to the safety of the batteries for now. He's trying to wait for that upgrade advantage to kick in, but he's already up 10 army supply. The start of this fight has gone swellingly for ShowTime. 9th and 10th gateway finishing for Jieshi right now. Warp Prism does shuffle forward. He's going to be warping in more Zealots. Good Blink Micro so far for Jieshi. That upgrade advantage is very important. +2 bonus damage to armored units on each of these Stalker shots. That adds up very quickly. He's got a beautiful concave as well. ShowTime's numbers are falling. And man, it looks like Jieshi just having faith in the +2 timing seems to have done it again. 6 probes did just go down. Looks like the Oracle flew in there. Nice bit of a counterattack from ShowTime. He technically has a worker advantage. Battery overcharge in the back, slowly running out here. But his Stalkers have thinned out Jieshi's numbers. If he could get one big Zealot warp in, maybe, just maybe. I just feel like Jieshi's got too much. Jieshi's got too much, man. And ShowTime has to tap out. Jieshi crushes through ShowTime 2-0. And not a great start for the Basilisk Big Alliance. All right, well, that's a pretty rough, or pretty fantastic start, I should say, for Dragon Kaiser Gaming. Hero at the bottom left now, facing off against REYNOR in our next 2 maps. So we're going to be starting on Alcyon. REYNOR's got some heavy lifting to do, and I think we always knew this was going to be the case. I mean, REYNOR's never been as consistent as Serral in the team leagues, but he's had moments where he does look absolutely fantastic, especially Caster's Civil War when Roddy drafted REYNOR. REYNOR did so much heavy lifting in that tournament. But at the end of the day here, REYNOR ends up being the champion for this team. He's the guy who's almost always going to be coming out as the ace, and he's got to do that work. Now, this was a 15-15 by the looks of it, guys. Yeah, 15-15. Gets his hatchery down before Hero can block it. It's a pretty good opening. I know on some maps, you know, you do have to go 14 hatchery if you want to make sure they can't block you. REYNOR kind of was telling us about that. The probe does go across the map at the very start. True, does take the spawning pool maybe a second later than it could have. REYNOR was a bit busy counter-microing here. Hero doing a very standard opening behind this, by the way. Notice he's pulled a worker off minerals onto gas. That's a big sign of a Stargate opening. However, we know that Hero's openings aren't super optimized. He actually does this every game, even when he's playing Twilight. Even though your build order is just a little bit better if you leave 16 on minerals with most Twilight builds, unless it's an exceptionally fast rush, which last time I saw him do that, he did not do it an exceptionally fast rush. He just kind of favored that version of the opening. Is that a wall off, guys? I think it is. If there's a hole on the top of that wall, that'll be interesting. This is one of these wall offs where this is actually super awkward, the placement, because even if you put, like, normally these wall-offs, you can build a gateway in front, like here, to make it a better wall-off. But on this one, he really, like, he can't. It's going to be a diagonal. No matter where he puts the next building, it's going to be a diagonal wall-off. So there's no way to make this a good choke point, except by putting, like, another pylon in front, and that slightly thickens the choke. But it's an awkward one. That is what we expect from Hero. REYNOR is a bit of a, you know, figure things out on the fly, and just play your way through the game sort of player. So he's got a really good chance of taking the fight to Hero and taking him down. On the other hand, not really a player who's necessarily going to be taking massive advantages at the start of the game, unless Hero leaves some big openings. Third base will be going down soon. That probe backs out. Twilight Council for Hero, like I said, Twilight Council opening. So indeed, it does look like, even though he's chronoing probes here, he has pulled a worker off each gas now. So he is going for... That's so funny that he optimizes the build at this point, pulls a worker off each gas, but then he's only got 15 out of 16 on minerals at the start. That's a proper Hero moment. But as I said, he always goes 15 out of 16. For other Protoss players, you can usually read into that. For him, you can't. So just got to remind myself of that when I'm casting his games. So the thing, if you're playing as a pro, you really need to memorize these little details as well. If you are trying to make reads into them and, like, look into them, you try to memorize each player's habits just so you can make big conclusions from the limited information that you find yourself with in the middle of a StarCraft match. The Adept coming in, he's seen that it's mostly drones coming out. REYNOR's already got 2 worker lines pretty full here. He did go for quite a quick link speed and a third base, so if you do all of that, 15-15 doesn't really come out on top of a normal 16 hatchery opening, but of course he has the advantage of having his natural in his natural, rather than having to take that awkward third base where it's exposed to Glaive Adepts. Glaives is on the way. Warp Prism coming in. It's going to be a 4-gate Glaive Adept attack. We do need another pylon Hero. Let's hope he doesn't forget that bad boy, because when Warp Gate finishes in a moment, you're not going to have enough supply to warp in 4 Adepts. Pylon does go down now as the Warp Gates start to transform. So it looks like he should be able to warp in Yeah, one Adept will be supply blocked by the looks of it. Not too big of a deal. Actually, no. 3 Adepts do warp in. 4th one will be delayed until the pylon finishes. And there we go. Warp Prism is going to meet up with that. 2 Adepts in the middle of the Watchtower right now. 15 Zerglings going around the right side. 8 more Zerglings coming out. So it's a 38 drone defense for REYNOR, which is the safest number to defend on. Make sure you don't die. However, I do sometimes think being a little bit greedy against these sort of openings, getting up to 40, 42, 43 drones can give you a big advantage if the Protoss isn't committing as hard. And with the 3rd gas, the probe production, we know Hero's not committing that hard. So Hero's already got a worker advantage. Let's see what he can do with it, though. Lots of Roaches, Lings, and Queens. Oh my god, he commits! Crazy commitment for Hero there. He only saw the edge of the Zerglings, so I guess he just thought there weren't that many. But 2 Adepts do go down for about 16 Zerglings. 3 Adepts in total actually have fallen. Roaches splitting up nicely there. The 2 in the natural cancel. The other ones do commit in the main base. 4 more Adepts warping in here. Run, drones, run! At the front, it looks like a Queen is trying to fight those 2 Adepts off. That Queen will go down. You can see her hit points down there in the bottom. As actually she does go down. Meanwhile, Adept shading into the natural at the same time. Oh, lots of these drones going down. 7, 8 workers potentially going down in the moment here. Does grab it as it comes off the gas. And 4 Adepts picked up and pulled on out. Problem for Hero, he can't get a 3rd base. That being said, he hasn't really tried to, so the Zerglings haven't found value just yet. Sending 8 Zerglings to the other side is always a good idea. Makes it, if they send an Adept or 2 out, 8 Zerglings can kill it without you really microing that much. But REYNOR gets the probe, gets the pylon, backs away as an Immortal and a few Adepts move out to secure the 3rd. Seeing that Immortal tells you one thing as REYNOR. It tells you you need to mass Roaches and Ravages, and you need to do it soon. You can't do it off just 38 workers. But getting a 3rd gas, maybe 45 drones, and then massing Roach Ravager to defend against the incoming Adept Immortal attack is super necessary. He sees no probe production on that Nexus. That's huge. He sees... Okay, so even then, as the probe production starts up, it's very intermittent. This is a very committed attack. 2 more drones trying to be squeezed in. That might be too greedy. REYNOR already took a lot of damage this game. He's got 16 Roaches, soon to be 18. He's probably going to need Ravages as well, just to drop Biles across these units. Without Ravages, it's really hard. On the other hand, Zerglings suck against Adepts. So you really don't want any Zerglings in the mix other than the ones you just have to build to spend your minerals. Queens, Roaches, Ravages trying to gather out the front. He's going to try and split up his army. The Adept shade in. That's a crazy move there for Hero. His Prism will get pushed back by the Queens and the Ravages, but it does mean he's going to find big damage in the main at the same time. It's the Warp Prism with that get out of jail free sort of mentality with the Immortals that leads to so much damage in these scenarios. Because the Adept shade in, the Immortals pick up and fly away, and you go, nah, 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 I didn't even commit. Behind it, Blink's on the way. +1. 3rd base is finishing. Hero can now probe up. He's ahead on upgrades. He's ahead on economy. And REYNOR is only just starting a Laird and Evo chamber now. Doesn't have a 4th hatchery. He's down on workers. There is no really technical way to describe this other than saying REYNOR's in the doo-doo. He's going to have to get his hands dirty. He's down Poo-Poo Creek, and he's got to get his hands dirty to paddle his way out of there. He does not have an ore, and that's going to be a big problem. Roach Ravager, 3 Ravagers, 15 Roaches, 4 Immortals now. Only 3 of them on the front at least. That's one thing, but dude, those 3 Immortals are very scary. That being said, Hero may be overcommitting. If a few more Roaches and Ravagers can come out, that'd be big. The Spore did help out. If the Spore kills the Observer... Oh my god, there's 2 Spores there. The Observer goes down. Adept shade to the right side. They kill 7 drones instantly, which is nice. On the other hand, the Immortals are exposed. He's got to juggle those Immortals correctly. The Adept's doing pretty decently on that right side. The Immortals push back the Roaches, and Hero's got REYNOR dead to rights. Nothing REYNOR can really do from here. I feel like Hero has ridden the line of overcommitting the whole time without ever stepping over that line. He's just been on the edge, keeping REYNOR, like, just worried about the defense, losing units, taking damage, and then Hero's been pulling out. REYNOR's simply finding himself behind. And like I said, lately we've seen a lot of Protoss players go for the 40, 44 drone Adept pressures that aren't as committed. And it just feels like they still hit a crucial timing. They still find damage. And if you're off just a tiny bit in your defense, man, it's hard to recover from that. So I don't know if REYNOR either should have been a little greedier or just a little more technical with his positioning to not lose those 11 drones in the first wave. But it was all about defending that first wave as efficiently as possible. I think it was it Dark recently? I can't quite remember who it was, but there was a player very recently I saw tried to skip Ling Speed because they knew this was the opening and went for a quick lair, Roach Warren, and 3 gases. And they went for like 43, 44 drones, and they walled off the front with Roach Warren, Evo, and another Evo. And then they just get enough roaches and queens out to defend their third. The problem they had is they let the warp prism rotate in the main, and all their roaches were stuck out front, and they ended up taking tons of damage anyway. But I love the idea, because that's a really old school response that I know Cham still does occasionally. Not many other players do. It's a very 2017 to like late 2016 response, back when Dark Templar Archon drop was the most common thing you'd see off Twilight opening. And occasionally you'd see Glaive Adepts, but it was a non-warp prism, the old school Glaive Adept that Neeb used to use a lot. Gold base is now up. Hero's got a massive income. He does not need to push into REYNOR at all, but he's just kind of removing territory from him, removing map control. I mean, look at this right now. He's got like a random bit of creep that's disconnected. He's got like 2 active tumors only on the right side. Hive and Lurkaden are coming in. I mean, if REYNOR can fight back from here, that would be very impressive, but he's on 61 workers. So he's kind of like, okay, I know Hero likes to overcommit to aggression, so I'm just going to keep massing army. And the way I get back in this game is if he overcommits, maybe I have enough army to get a really good fight. Problem, of course, is that's not what's happening. Now, this Overseer definitely should contaminate either the upgrade or the Robo. He's at 121 energy, but of course, with an army on the front, he doesn't really have a lot of attention on that Overseer right now. Hopefully, REYNOR remembers that at some point. Here comes the Immortal Stalker on the left side. Adepts are going to shade into the natural. He split off a bunch of his roaches. He's using Ravages to try and bile. Overseer is just chilling. Up to 8 gateways, 9th gateway on the way. Disruptive production has started. Roaches are in position on that natural. They should be ready. The Glaives do cancel the shade. Nice move by Hero. Usually people are so occupied with their main army at this point, they don't cancel those shades. But Hero actually did very well. There's Adepts coming in on that left side, trying to take down that Spore Crawler. He's still going to shade in towards the main, trying to keep REYNOR busy. Biles are landing across the Stalkers. The Immortal Barriers are mostly gone, but man, there's just no Roach Ravager here. It's a few Ravages and that's it. Lurkers are trying to morph. Hero sees it, shoves in. And as I said earlier, he was way too far ahead. Hero had him dead to rights. DKZ is up 3-0 with only 1 more game needed to win the series. Well, that was a rare sight. Not only did Hero play a really clean opening, which is very common for him, but he didn't overcommit even once. And that just shows he was just... everything was going his way. His build was playing out nicely, he was executing it well, and he was finding REYNOR without the answers. Interestingly, REYNOR goes 15-15 for the 2nd game in a row. I guess he is wanting to get this back base up. The gold base, I thought, you know, a lot of Protoss players were telling me, man, this map's really bad because Zerg just takes the gold and gets ahead. I don't think gold as the hatchery first is very safe, though, and REYNOR does decide to take the conservative hatchery in the back. Conservative and REYNOR, not really something you would normally put together with him, but I think as the weight of his whole team relying on him comes down on his shoulders, he probably is playing a little bit more with hedging his bet, saying, oh, come on, I've got to at least win this game to give Trigger a chance to keep us in there. Probe's going to go after the Nexus. That's a Nexus first. Now, you don't see Hero Nexus first very often. We'll see how well he does with it. I do wonder if it's going to be a 2-gate variation. Estrella likes those a lot, or if we're going to see more of an old school just gate into immediate double gas, just play it out with like a higher economy kind of oracle opening essentially. Chronos probes before building a gas, interesting, and is already long distance mining the gold. It's probably slightly more efficient to just mine these long patches, but that does take a bit of micro to make sure they stack up, so this is not the worst way to do it, especially since you do get 7 minerals rather than 5 per trip. And he's going to try and hide that second pylon in the back. Now, the trick with an Nexus first is normally you don't need a second pylon very early, but I think he wants to hide his tech, which is part of why he's building this. Because you're going to notice, guys, by the time this... unless you... or if you want to keep chronoing probes, if you already want to drop your chronos this early, then yes, you do. Fair enough. He's gonna drop that extra chrono. You can see he's getting supply blocked from this moment, and the Nexus is still about 8 seconds away from finishing, so fair enough. He did scout across the map. He saw no gold base. That's the only thing he checked for. Workers have been put on gas, all 3 of them for REYNOR. Overlord's coming out as well. He's droning on up. 2 queens, lots of drones, and Overlord on the way also. Now, Hero is here on 14 out of 16 workers on minerals. He's also rallied to the gold minerals pretty quickly. And that's pretty optimal, yeah. Just trying to make sure he gets a Zealot out to guard the wall off. He's got a pylon in the wall off still, very Hero-esque. That Stargate should be going down a while ago, but of course he only just got the Cyber Core. Hero? Stargate? Okay, thought he dropped that a few seconds earlier. 3rd hatchery comes down to the front for REYNOR. REYNOR has pulled off gas. Now that's interesting, guys. Just Ling Speed into pulling off gas. No, actually, that's not that interesting. I said that's interesting when I thought he hadn't mined enough for the gas. Because I looked up the top, there was no upgrade. I looked down the bottom, there was 0 gas, and I was like, I thought I saw him put on gas. And then I looked back up and I was like, oh, the production tab must have lagged for a second. Sometimes it's like that where, like, you know, if they start building something, it takes like a second or two to show in the production tab. But I was like, how the heck did he mine gas without actually mining gas? And of course, I'm just a little bit cray-cray. Stalker going to take down this Overlord. I think he gets the safety. Yeah. Stalker's going to get 2 more hits off maybe, but no. There we go. 42 hit points. Oracle's on the way. Adepts are building. Quick 4 gas here for Hero. Interesting. It's a very quick 4 gas. But why? Are we just going to play second Stargate here? Because what are you going to use all that gas for? Mass Archon Zealot timing? I don't know. He's moving out to take a 3rd base right now. Overlord comes in for the sacrifice. REYNOR realizing he needs to see what's going on in here. Doesn't see the Oracle. And he won't be finding it either. Second Stargate Fleet Beacon goes down. Yeah, it's full air. Full air does require a lot of gas, guys. Did he see it, though? He did not. That's REYNOR's vision. He does not know about the double Stargate. Seeing the Oracle now, he at least knows it's single Stargate. Oracle's going to turn around to defend the 3rd from these Zerglings, though. Going to use that Oracle defensively, and that's probably the wisest choice. Oracle plus an Adept should easily defend this base. REYNOR's only on 43 work as he builds a Spore on his 3rd, so he's going for 2 Spores, as many drones as he possibly can. This was a lot of Zerglings for him to build just as a bit of a safety precaution. Not being able to actually kill anything with it kind of sucks. Double Tempest production coming out for Hero. If those Tempests get down on that right side of this map, they can inch in behind and start picking off your drones. Not to mention killing your hatcheries, your queens. Things still dancing around. Oracle will turn on the laser. He says, okay, let's kill a few of these Zerglings. Good micro by Hero so far. Good evasive maneuver attempts for REYNOR, but Hero not caught off guard. And he's going to actually kill 5+ Zerglings, make it 6. Wow, very well done. First 2 Tempests around. He needs to queue up more of them and keep chrono boosting. It's so important that you hit with those Tempests as quickly as possible. He starts one, does not start the second. There we go. Chrono's now going down on those as he starts the 4th Nexus. 2 Adepts and a Shield Battery are up at home. Extra Shield Battery and a Forge are building. Oracle may have to go home to help defend, but nah, with a few Adepts and a Battery, I think he's going to be A-okay. Hold position does finally get activated. Tempest come forward and start picking off an Overlord. Oracle turns around. Spire immediately goes down for REYNOR. He's only on 3 gas, though. Oh, God, 2 gas! He needs more gas. He's only on 51 drones as well. He was building roaches! Oh, no, he built safety roaches. This is not good for REYNOR. Overseer does come in now to see what's going on. He thought he might be getting Zealot all in or something like that. He finds out it's the double Tempest build. His 4th hatchery at least is buying him a lot of time. I gotta say, that's not too bad. Hero! Hero, what are we doing? Oh my god, he's gonna lose a Tempest. REYNOR surprises him with the queens moving down. Kills a Tempest. Massive mistake there for Hero. REYNOR distracts him just with the Ling Roach pressure and manages to find big damage. Ling should be able to kill that cannon if they attack it immediately. But with the batteries, the Adepts, he realizes this is not worth dilly-dallying. Now that gold hatchery is going to go down. He knows that, so he's already building a new 4th base over there. He's also droning very hard right now. Those queens doing a very good job of all getting together. Spore Crawler comes forward as well. He does have Tectonic Destabilizers. Guys, he lost 1 Tempest. He almost lost a 2nd. Queen finally goes down. This hatchery will fall. Is this enough damage? What's the follow-up? Twilight Council now does go down. There's a few Void Rays out. He starts a Twilight, then cancels it. He's decided, no, actually, I'm going to play full air. If you guys needed evidence that Hero makes up his builds on the fly, look at that. He's so slow to transition, and then he changes his mind and says, nah, actually, I'll just make up the air. I'll stick to mass air here and try to make that work. He did get rid of the gold hatchery before. Now he gets rid of this one. It does get instantly rebuilt in both locations. 7 Corruptors are on the way as well. Queens on the edge of creep. They got to be careful. Going off creep, they can get caught. Another queen does go down. Ling Roach on the other side of the map. Bailey Nest is on the way. 7 Corruptors as well. +2 melee does start up. That hatchery does get killed, not cancelled. Rebuilding a hatchery in the face of the Tempest was a bad idea. I liked this one rebuilding. I did not like the rebuild of that one. Oracle rotating around the back, looking for an exposed mineral line. But he's only going to find himself 1 or 2 drones, and 1 drone it is. Oracle takes heavy damage. Corruptors dive across the map. If they find those Tempests in the open, they will put them to rest. There is a few Stalkers out here, but it's not a Stalker transition. He's going for +1 on the ground, though. Why is he making +1 on the ground when he's clearly playing mass air? He's also making Flux Veins now. I'm not sure if Hero's Dial makes sense. His 4th Nexus gets cancelled. I don't know why you would be upgrading Ground. He's only got 2-gate production. Upgrading Ground seems like utter nonsense. I guess it's so Zealots beat Zerglings. It can set you up for a much later Blink transition, but right now just surviving on 3 to 4 bases is more than enough of a task, if you ask me. Mothership's coming in. 3rd Stargate building as well. He's trying to build batteries and cannons on the front. Hero has to kind of just turtle and survive. He's also got to figure out if Rain is droning back up or just trying to kill him with a big all-in. He gets a revelation off. Raynor, don't show him your worker line. Oh, Raynor shows him the worker line. That was a little sloppy. You got to be careful. I guess it's pretty small vision. Maybe he only saw the edge of the gold base. And to be fair, it's not that sloppy. It doesn't matter. Because even if Raynor didn't build drones for this base, he would have just moved drones down from there to here. So that doesn't actually tell you anything about Raynor's work account. Never mind. 2 more queens being built. Roach Ravager still massing up. Roach Ravager, Ling Bane. Dude, Raynor doesn't seem to realize that this is mass air. He saw so many Stalkers. He saw a Forge upgrading. And you know what? It crossed my mind before, but more than ever, I'm thinking maybe Raynor running around with his Lings, seeing the Forge spinning. Maybe that's why he started the +1. Obviously, Twilight and Extra Gateways will go down now. Charge Archon will eventually come in behind this. Maybe Storm as well. 2 cannons and a battery on the left side will deflect those Zerglings. Adept's trying to shade forward. Definitely want to see a cancel on that. And indeed, he does. Good move by Hero so far. He's got 4 more gateways coming in. That Templar Archives. If he gets Storm, a bunch of Archons in here, that could be powerful. Already, there's only 12 Corruptors, which will get destroyed by 8 Void Rays. But it's a Queen Walk along with those Corruptors. And the Queens will do pretty well. 3 drones go down for 5 Adepts. Not a good trade for Hero. Hero's down. Excuse me, guys. Hero's down 40 army supply right now. That burp just leapt up out of nowhere. Jeez, right into the microphone. Sorry about that, gang. 8 gate. Not done yet. This is the transition point where Hero goes from air to ground. He's not there yet. Tempest can pick things off from afar. He should have probably already been working on this a while ago. Those probes should have evacuated a while ago as well. Oh, the probes, 14 of them going down. The Void Rays run forward, but the Void Rays have got to dodge the Corrosive Bile. 1 Void Ray already goes down. Cloak does activate. Baneling's rolling past. Don't tell me he's going to get that mineral line as well. Void Rays are smashing the Corruptors. Baneling's clearing the mineral line. Biles just took out 2 Tempests and a few Void Rays. 3 Void Rays and 3 Tempests have already gone down. He loses 38 workers. Lings got into the main as well. You're kidding me. Oh, Hero and leaving his door open. Name a more iconic duo. Biles, Queens, and Corruptors are doing very decently here against the Void Rays. Even with the Corruptors gone, it's the mixture of Biles and just those Queens mass transfusing and killing these Void Rays. These Void Rays are getting wrecked. Mama's taking big Biles to the face right now. She dies to Corrosive Bile Queen attacks. And even though he didn't have many Corruptors to face the air, basically just a mass Queen Ravageling Bane push rakes Hero here. Hero was not able to handle that at all. And Raynor finds himself now at double the supply. The Queens are a little outgunned, but as Mass Corruptor reinforces off a 70 drone income, I think he's in a great spot. Lings are going to run in. This time, Hero does warp in a Zealot in time. Archons, Cannons, and Zealots all out front trying to hold on. Raynor not really going to find too much with those Zerglings. Looks like they'll maybe kill a cannon at most. Desperate counter push for Hero. He's down only 20 army supply. Technically, if you ignore the Queens, his air army does dominate. But who's ignoring Queens, mate? 7 Queens on creep. Ravager Biles to boot. Good luck dealing with that, mate. 5th base in the bottom right side is there. 65 workers for Raynor. This is a pretty damn impressive just ability to kill a Skytoss player without actually building much that counters it. It's all because Hero was so afraid of the Corruptors that he built Mass Void Ray, though. If he had Carriers, this would not have worked out as well, right? Carriers do much better versus Queens, versus Ravagers, because they can attack while they're moving and dodging Biles, and they just do more raw damage, whereas the Void Rays are an anti-armored specialist. They're only good versus the Corruptors. We can see then they weren't able to fight against the Corruptors earlier. They're only fighting them when they're also dealing with Mass Queen Ravager, and they're heavily outnumbered. Raynor gets a point on the board for Basilisk and begins that little trickle of hope for them to bring this series back. All right, well, that's a pretty hard match here for Trigger. He's got to win the next 2 games just to force the ace match and give Raynor another chance to get out there. Now, to be fair, playing against Oliveira for DKZ, this is probably Trigger's better matchup. He's very good at TVP. I really do think Trigger is heavily underrated in this matchup. On the other hand, Oliveira's crazy aggressive pushes, his decisive all-ins, are, in my opinion, very good matchups against Trigger. I don't know why. I just feel like you put a guy who plays more like Beyond or Cure in there, and Trigger's style does better against them. Maybe it's also because he's got so much practice against those guys. Even though those guys are higher ranked than Oliveira, I'd only give them equal chances, you know, against Trigger that I'd give Oliveira. Still favorites, but not overwhelming favorites. Now, that to be said, you're saying, oh, Piggy, you're saying you're giving Oliveira the same favorites chance as Beyond would have? Yeah, probably. I just feel like Oliveira is so decisive. I think somewhere between 6 and 7 minutes, 5 and 8 minutes, I guess we could expand that a little bit, but somewhere in that range, probably 6 to 7 minutes. I think you see Oliveira just pull the boys or do some big shove, and it's so hard to stop those pushes. On the other hand, actually, counter argument, Asian regionals, Oliveira looked real sloppy in some of his PBTs, like real sloppy. And it looked like in some of his matches, he wasn't able to deal with like a Protoss in the later stages. Like he looked like he was trying to force the engagements when they got heavy disruptor out, where he'd just be like, you know, when you see a Terran who's like really obsessed with surrounding their army and just like spreading his bio out and then stimming on top. But like the Protosses would scout that in the Asian regionals. They'd pull back and he'd still try to like force the fight and just chase them through a choke. You know what? You know when someone's like too committed to F2ing their army forward? They're like, no. I spread my army across a big 270-degree arc. I'm going to commit here. Even though you know what's happening and you've pulled back to a better defensive position, we're still going to try and force our way through. And I've seen Oliveira throw a few games recently with that sort of maneuver. Now, this is awesome, guys. This Cybercore location. Someone was pointing this out. I saw someone build a pylon here the other day, and I was like, why has he done that? And it's specifically to block Reapers from jumping in the back, whether it be single Reaper, 2-ranks Reaper, 3-ranks Reaper. It's a nice little pylon spot that allows you to build that. Of course, it is exposed to getting sniped later on, but really limits the annoyance that a Reaper otherwise can cause. Now, one Adept's already headed across the map, and good probe micro for Trigger so far. Oliveira's in here. He's already got his second barracks on the way, so he's playing classic Chinese StarCraft. The Chinese PvT style is one of my favorite ways to play because it gives you an abundance of units. It's very solid. We'll talk about that in a moment as this Reaper does not leave the base just yet. Sees the Twilight. Sees no gold base, and he's going to have to hide in the back. Looks like the Adept does go hide behind the gold minerals, so he's denying the gold minerals of Trigger, but the Reaper's trapped in here, man. And Oliveira, there's no way out of this. Oh, yeah. Reaper just gets blasted off the cliff down there into the swamps of Dagobah. It did just dawn on me. By the way, with how misty it is, that Yoda probably does live somewhere down there. We're on like a little plateau where it's a little bit more rocky and dry up here, but off the sides of the plateau, man, down there, that's looking like some swampy, foggy madness. I think many people out there would argue we're simply on a mountaintop and those are the clouds below us because we're so high. You guys shut up. I'm right. Anyways, Robo's coming down. Second gate as well. Third gate coming down for Triggs. So yeah, Oliveira's lost mining on the gold. Speaking of his style, guys, the problem he might run into is, yeah, you do not want to lose too many SCVs here. Once he's got a tank out, this will be safe. But until then, if Trigger can kill 2 or 3 SCVs, it's super worth. It's even worth losing an Adept if you can kill like 1 more SCV. He's going to keep trying to run in from these angles. He's got 3-gate blink on the way. Oliveira should be safe against this. He's even building... Oh, that's a 4th gate, actually, isn't it? Oh, guys, he's building 4-gate blink. Adept Stalker comes in. They grab 1 more SCV. Like I said, probably worth losing the Adept for that. But now as the tank siege is up, this is done for. And you can't push in anymore. 3rd barracks is on the way as well. Question is, how much does Oliveira commit to that 3rd barracks? And how much does Trigger commit to the 4-gate blink? Now, I would argue that if you commit too hard, you're kind of screwed here. Normally against this build. Because normally, as far as Trigger knows, he's building more tanks. And he's going to have a tank there, a tank there, a tank there. They're all covering each other. Lots of bio. Yeah, there's not much you can get done. But look at this. Grabs 2 SCVs. Grabs 3. 3 SCVs. What did he lose there? An Adept. This is really good economic damage. And remember, he can keep blinking back as well. So you need to now bring a 2nd siege tank down here. This is the weakness of the gold base showing itself. But he's only got 1 tank. He's actually trying to transition into Starport here. Engineering Bay starts +1. Oliveira's trying to play a normal game off of this gold minerals, but I don't think the advantage of the gold mining makes up for you losing so many SCVs. Not necessarily, anyway. Good blink back micro, man. And look at this, he's picking off anything he can. Oh, he loses a Stalker there. Hello. Did get a bit excited, but he got 2 Marines, 9 SCVs now for 2 Adepts and a Stalker. Very good trading. He's not going to win with this as an all-in, though, I don't think. Or actually, wait, Stim's done. Shields is not. He waits for his shields to regen, blinks in the main? Maybe? There's only 1 tank. There's not that much bio. It still seems like a crazy idea, but he could definitely find some more damage. Gold base goes up. Trigger's going to take the gold base. That means that is very risky as well, right? If Oliveira pushes out and has map control, he can punish you for it, but the Warp Prism's here now. Warp Prism arrives, allowing you to pick off 2 depots. Those 4 Stalkers pick off 2 SCVs, or 1 SCV, sorry, in the back. Warp Prism and Stalker hanging out here. Just going to do some blink back micro. Ooh. Gets another SCV as well. Bit of a miss rally. Oliveira's feeling very pinned. We always said this map was very good for blink. Stimming forward right now is Oliveira. Trigger's got to get out of there. Is it worth picking up in the Prism? Probably not. Oh, but he does. He picks up 1 Stalker. He's got to unload that Stalker. You're going to lose it to Marines otherwise. Oh, but no, they don't want to stim. Chasing any further is a bit risky here for Oliveira, so fair enough. He's going to try and pull back here. Does tag one of those Stalkers, takes it down. 3 Stalkers, 2 Adepts have gone down. Stalkers in the south have to blink out of there, and indeed they do. The Stalkers in the north, though, they're going to try and make this army overstim. He's trying to just make Oliveira overstim, and if Oliveira doesn't go back, he could be in trouble. But with 2 medevacs healing himself up, he's okay for now. He's rallying probes over towards that gold 3rd base. Forge coming in as well as charge. Immortals are coming out, and expect sentries to back up those Immortals in the near future. Right now, there are 15 Blink Stalkers on the map. Behind this, 3rd Command Center starts for Oliveira, only now at 6 minutes 50. Still got a tank and a bunker defending his gold base, but unfortunately his SCVs are blocked by that bunker, I believe, which is why they are rallying in the wrong direction. Oh, that is unfortunate, guys. That bunker should be getting sold by Oliveira. That is really messing up his mining right now, as that top patch appears to be blocked. Stalkers come in, take a little bit more damage for yet another SCV. That's 12 workers this game. Oliveira's income is very small. He picks up and goes for a dangerous boost, but Trigger sees it! Trigger sees it. Trigger sees it. Stalker's moving to intercept. Oh, Oliveira, good eyes on him. He realizes there's a blurf tracking him. Unloads, scans, and returns home. Exactly. He better return home. If he doesn't, he's going to end up in trouble, man. Trigger's Warp Prism up here as well. A little bit dangerous from Trigger. Trigger's got +1 attack starting. +1's already done for the Terran. Stalkers blinking back as one of them does go down. But as more Zealots could come in from behind. Oh, a Stalker came in from behind. A bit of a miss rally. You can see it just left a bit of a blue spray there on the ground. 3rd Command Center is almost finished. 4th and 5th Barracks have their reactor and tech lab. Ghost Academy's coming in. Oliveira is stabilized. Despite all those economic losses, I actually think he's in a fine spot now. Trigger's Robo Bay is pretty slow. Trigger doesn't have a 4th base started. And the work account's pretty similar. That being said, Zealot drop comes into the main base. Ooh, does unload 1 Zealot, but it looks like plenty of bio is ready for that. And oh, he's going to go for the warp in anyway. Not a good angle to fight, though. He's going to go on the front. That's where maybe he finds some proper damage. Stalker Zealot on the front, picks off a depot. EMP lands, does blink forward, takes out a medevac, and then pulls away. Zealots over here, starting to clean through the Marines and the Marauders. 2 of them do take down an SCV or 2 before the Prism falls back. Tries to attack the front once more. Oliveira's already overstimmed. He's got to be careful, mate. Those SCVs might have to get pulled into this fight. Another EMP could be massive. And does he use it? No. But he tags the Immortal. No escape for that Immortal. The Zealot Stalker tries to come in. A couple of Marauders go down. EMP lands on the Stalkers. The Stalkers have to blink away. More Zealots warping into the back door right now. It's pure chaos. Oliveira needs to hang on and stabilize, but he's just not got the units in the right spot at the right time. And this sort of multi-pronged Zealot Stalker style, very, very fragile. Very easy to mess this up as Trigger. So far, though, he seems to be committing the right amount. There's no more Marines in that bunker on that right side, which actually means this mineral line is super exposed. Siege tank will fall. Warp Prism goes back into the main base. Oh, dude. Oliveira must be getting triggered by that Warp Prism right now. Pun absolutely intended. Gonna warp Zealots into the main base as well. Bunker does take out the Zealot. That Zealot's gonna take out the Marine as well. Zealots on the left side are trying to hang out, picking off a few Marines, Marauders, and SCVs. Stalkers going after those SCVs. One of them goes down at the front. A few more falling. The Zealots have all been cleaned up, but the bio is deep in the red. And he's back in there again. Trigger being so naughty with that Warp Prism. Finally, Oliveira gives that Warp Prism the spanking that it's been asking for. But looks, Oliveira is still accidentally rallying SCVs out the front, trying to get at that gold mineral patch. That bunker placement is a bit of a bummer, guys. It's really hurting him. 66 probes up behind this. 4th base is now up, going from 7 to 9 gates is Trigger. +2 attack, and, of course, the extended thermal lats are on the way. That's his third Colossus as well. So these Stalkers still acting as if it's the 5-minute mark, just being in his face, harassing, attacking. Oliveira finally stabilizes. He does have a 4th command center. He's got the 2nd engineering bay with the armory almost done. He can play a longer game. He sees a 4th that's fully saturated, but he sees no 5th with this double scan. That was Oliveira saying, look, I need to just spend some scans to get some situational awareness right now. Did he just lose the SCV? Oh my god, he keeps losing the SCV, but in the command center. That's so irritating. Trigger being a proper D-bag right now. That's your goal in StarCraft, by the way, guys. That's a compliment. If you're annoying your opponent, distract them, breaking their rhythm, that's what it's all about. Marine Marauder, Ghost, good EMPs, but you don't want to chase those Colossus into a choke point. You don't want to chase this. Ollie, I don't think Ollie has the numbers. He goes after the Colossus, but dude, you can see the way the Marines started to melt so quickly. Charging into Zealot Colossus. Yes, the EMPs were massive, but he didn't have the numbers advantage, and you really want to be spread out. You don't want to be fighting from one angle against Colossus like that. Vikings are here, though. Vikings are going to help out a lot. SCVs have to get pulled. I think Oliveira could probably defend this push, but dude, he's already sacrificed SCVs. 40! 40 SCVs? 44? What in the hell? Oh my lord, I did not realize he had that many workers. Is that number correct? What in the hell? 50 workers apparently just died. Was he at 80 workers before that? I don't think he was. I feel like that number's bugged. Unless that's just been chaining kills from much earlier in the game, and I wasn't keeping track of it. Either way, total is 62 workers killed, so definitely that number is wrong. It just shows the activity level of Trigger. He just keeps in his face, keeps finding damage, extricates a couple of Colossus out of this situation, or at least one of them. There's a new one that got built. New Warp Prism, DTs, and a 5th base is up. Meanwhile, Oliveira, he's actually ahead 2,000 resources in the units lost, but he's so far behind on workers, and that's what's going to cost you. Man, I gotta rewind to that worker pool. I feel like there was not a worker killed number. And then it was just said 44 out of nowhere, and I was like, what? I feel like that was somehow double counting some of those kills. Maybe, yeah, I don't know, maybe something with Colossus having 2 attacks bugged it out. DT gets 2 kills there, gets EMP'd and taken down. Planetary's up. It's not healthy though. Oh, he loses a couple Vikings. Good blink forward, dude. Oliveira just taps out. And fair enough, guys, he's dead. He knows his opponent has probably 5, if not 6 bases by now. Zealots ran in the back door at this exact moment. He's screwed. He's super screwed here. I don't see him coming back into this game at all. Even though technically there was no second forge or anything. I mean, the fact that there's a Dark Shrine, there's no second Robo, there's no second forge, but it doesn't matter. Trigger was just so active, he was wearing him down. He killed 15 workers here after the 12 earlier workers. He got a bunch of kills here with Zealots, guys. And that brought it up to 20 kills. Then this goes down. And then I guess he runs in and kills another worker here. Oh, because it was the gold-based workers kept running out and actually allowing him to get kills. And then he gets the SCV, right? So because this number stays up for like 15 seconds. I mean, yeah, and then another, okay, because each time an SCV came out, it renewed the timer on that. Because that expires after like 10, 15 seconds of no kills. But if you keep killing an SCV, hello, then you're all fine, right? And I don't know how long it is, the timer. I have no idea. Maybe it's longer than I thought, 30 seconds. But look, he gets another SCV. So this is why this happened this way. Yeah, and then he gets it again because it happens to float up there. And then the push comes. So he actually lost 26 workers. He pulled off this base into the fight. But he'd already lost 24 workers kind of continually over the previous minutes. So fair enough. And these SCVs just keep rallying forwards, by the way. Oh, damn, man. That bunker really hurt him. That bunker placement really sucked. Really nice play from both sides, though. And Trigger does get a point on the board. All right, he's got another chance to finish it here. Going into post-youth, Oliveira in the top right for DKZ. Trigger in the bottom left for Basilisk. Basilisk plus Showtime. They've been calling the team. By the way, I was saying DKZ's best players Oliveira, Hero, and Jieshi, right? And that's kind of the lineup. Guess what? After this match was played, just about a week ago, less than a week ago, DKZ actually picked up Sue, which is really exciting news. So they've got a Zerg on the roster, which adds a bit of depth. Sue's always a powerful player. who's just incredibly consistent, right? He's never easy to beat. Feels like Su, especially against like lower level pro gamers, has a prodigious win rate. Like he almost always beats players who are worse than him. So that's going to really flesh out their lineup. But of course, for today's match, that was not the case. And we're probably going to see Hero if it goes to an ace match. If Trigger could 2-0 Oliveira here, that'd be pretty slick. That would be very, very nice. Now, just a barracks gas opening. Did feel like the gas was a little late here for Oliveira. And he's also not even rallying that SCV to the inside of the gas. So a little sloppy on the opening, but nothing too crazy. Like when I say a little late, it was like a second late on the gas, maybe 1.5 seconds at most. Not a huge deal. Is he going to block it? Ooh, I thought he was going to block the entrance, but no. Just attacks the probe and Trigger. Just going to chill for now. Doesn't want to overcommit to this harassment. It is a Marine first. Oliveira not investing in the Reaper this time around. Nexus into Cybercore behind it. Nice economic build for Mr. Triggs. I think there's not that many Reaper openings on this map. So he's probably gone, you know what, I can get away with the Nexus before core. And he confirms it now. He sees the Marine. Oliveira goes to the command center behind this. And it looks like a quick factory as that barracks is halting production, waiting till he has 50 minerals, 50 gas to add the reactor, which very well could swap that factory over. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a Proxy Hellion drop. How do we know? Because, look at that. He's sending an SCV to proxy a starport over here. So the Marine went out to try and, escort that in case the probe saw it. But looks like we're going to be seeing a Proxy Hellion drop. Now, Stargate is one of the best builds against this. The other thing you could do is just have units in position. But if you don't realize this is the build, that's where things become problematic. So as long as this Adept goes straight across the map, sees the reactor on the factory, Trigger should have enough warning to do what he needs to do. Twilight Council comes in. He's actually chronoing the second Adept as well. And already pulling a few probes off minerals onto those gold. Not a bad way to start. Okay, cool. Starport on the far left side of the map. Adept is shading forwards as we speak. Factory's already on that reactor. And you can see Trigger's going to see this and immediately go, okay. So he should pull the Adept back, and then he should, or he could use the shade backwards. If he uses the shade like about now, I think he might have used it a few seconds too early. Let's see. Oh, does he see that? Does he see the Hellions? He doesn't see the Hellions. Oh, that's unfortunate. So he uses another shade backwards. Now he sees them. Okay, it's fine. He still spots them. It's good to know that it's Hellions and not Cyclones. Medevac will be starting over here in the corner of the map. Oliveira does start that up. He repairs his Hellions, which is very wise. Because 3 Hellions are needed to one-shot probes. So if you lose 2 of these Hellions, you're in huge trouble. You suddenly don't have that crazy lethal drop. He's still going Dark Shrine. Trigger playing DTs here. He's going to try and defend with 2 Adepts, 1 Stalker, no shield battery. He's got 2 more gateways coming, but they're not here yet. They're not going to be ready. So where's his Adepts at, guys? Oh, there we go. It is on the right side. Hellions are coming in. Oh, man. Oh, man, this is a big commitment for Oliveira. It's a dangerous move. Let's see how well Trigger can respond. One Adept is way out front of his base right now. The other Adept and Stalker are in near the main base. He's got to pull those probes pretty quickly, and he does. Good probe pull so far. Hellion's going after it. Oh, I like the probe pull, actually. I think this is a really good probe pull. He's just got to defend his natural now. These probes in the natural. Oh, good save with the Prism. Clutch defense by Trigger. Only 2 probes? Oh, Trigger shuts it down, man. Now, he's got to build a pylon. He's almost supply blocked, but he's in kind of a bit of disarray right now. He's pulled off gas, so he can't really make his DTs in time. Also, the DT shrine has been spotted, so he's got to actually just keep focusing on defending and kind of leave his units in position. Hellion, drop. This is so dangerous. Dude, Blink could have been done. I guess he knew with the Dark Shrine, Blink wouldn't be ready. But, oh, Oliveira gets in and actually kills 2 more probes. Not bad, not bad. That brings it up to 4 probes and a lot of mining time. He's going to go for the Dark Templar drop now. Obviously, there's scans on the way. Yeah, 2 scans saved. Turrets are finishing. So Oliveira is going to be very safe against the Dark Templar drop. And interestingly, well, Trigger! Oh my god! Oh, don't lose the Prism, mate. No, just run away. Just run away. Okay, he loses the Dark Templar. What? The aliens just ran in the front. They just ran in the front door. Oh no, Trigger with the godlike defense into dropping the ball. Oh, he fumbles it. I've been in a similar sort of situation so many times where you think he wouldn't risk coming back in here. Oh, and Trigger rage quits. He's so disgusted with himself because he knows he did so good on the start. And he knows he's probably dead after all that damage. I think, did he lose the prism at the same time? So this was the first one. Does he click that back in? Is that why he left? Did the Cyclone find it or something? No, it was just too much damage. It was just too much damage. I want to show you guys those Hellions. So he unloaded them outside the base, guys. Drove in. And Oliveira does secure the win for DKZ. Yeah, just with a 3 Hellion drive-by. It's so funny when 2 drops get defended really well. The first one perfectly. The second one was, it was fine. Only 2 probes. And then this happens. It's, you know, it's kind of a funny thing because I think this is a big reminder of something, and it's just something which he's probably not mentally prepared for. And I want to explain it to you guys quickly. As a player in this scenario, you're kind of panicky because you've died so many times to this. But the moment you defend, you really just need to build probes, take a third, and just macro. And I think it's hard sometimes for players to flexibly do that because you're thinking, I'm doing a DT drop. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm rushing the other guy. I'm seeing if I catch him off guard. But this has been scouted and you're crushingly defending a super powerful attack. But number 1, he's scouted your Dark Shrine. Number 2, he's delayed your gas mining. And I think you just need to prioritize your defense as number 1. And even if that means you don't end up warping in DTs at all and you just focus on your defense, that's totally fine. Don't get me wrong. If you could do both, that's great. But obviously, Trigger should have just left this, like, his units split between his mineral lines. Even if he just has 2 Stalkers in the depth there, a Stalker in the depth there, I think he's got the beginnings of a defense, wherever this comes in from. But he kind of got in this mindset of, no, I'll intercept it on the edge. But if you don't have Blink, you really need to be very, like, cautious and central with where you leave your Stalker Adept. So by leaving it there, it's a bit too far away. And then, of course, when the next wave came in, he's got them like, okay, it's fine, I'm defending, right? And it's like, well, no, you're still defending the drop angles, not the mineral lines. And even when the Adepts try to defend, the Hellions can, like, move south. The Adepts actually can't get around the buildings, and this is just devastating damage, man. Really well played by Oliveira. Nice damage, gets a big W, and does manage to secure it for DKZ. Basilisk down 0-2 at the start of the regular season, really struggling without Cyril in the lineup. GG, well played.